Bureau Chief of Jewish News Syndicate joins us now. Alex, welcome to the show. Let me ask you this. Even if Israel conducts a thorough investigation, which they say they will, and it shows that this was an accident, will it change the world's mind at this point?
Well, I don't think it's going to change the world's mind. I think the world international community has already decided that Israel should not be conducting a war in Gaza, and certainly not conducting an operation in Rafah. But I also don't think that this incident is going to change the Israeli government's mind. They are insistent that they must go into Rafah. Their operation there has already identified numerous tunnel shafts, weapons depots, and senior Hamas militants. Israel understands that in order to defeat Hamas, they must go into Rafah.
You know, it's interesting because this comes just on the heels of the UN's top court demanding that Israel cease all fighting in Rafah. Does this deadly strike, one of the deadliest we've seen since Israel has entered Rafah, does this just add to the weight that Israel does not have the capability to carry out a surgical attack in such a highly populated area?
Israel's been conducting the most precise offensive in modern warfare. I mean, they're using very precision-guided missiles. The number of civilian casualties to combatants is something around 1-to-1 at this stage in the war, which is unheard of in modern warfare. And they're going to continue to operate in such a way because they're not intending to take out civilian casualties. However, Hamas is specifically hiding itself among civilians, particularly in this humanitarian zone that Israel set up. Hamas has embedded itself there specifically that if Israel needs to target Hamas militants, that it should be done in a civilian area.
So it's also interesting because this comes as a humanitarian aid pier that the U.S. spent $300 million on is now actually out of commission and needs to be moved due to rough seas. It's halting all humanitarian aid at this point. So if people can't get aid in Rafah, does that just put more pressure on Israel to end this war?
Well, again, Israel's been facilitating the major transfer of humanitarian aid through land crossings. The U.S. has tried by dropping humanitarian aid in, which has proven to be deadly on multiple occasions when parachutes misfired. This pier is sitting in the Mediterranean. The Mediterranean in normal days has very rough seas. This is the eastern coast of the Mediterranean Sea. It's a very choppy area, and it's not clear that even if they repair this pier that it's going to be able to work. But tons and tons of humanitarian aid has been getting into the Gaza Strip. There's not a famine in Gaza right now, and Israel is going to do whatever it can to facilitate the transfer of humanitarian aid. A bigger question mark is what happens when the aid gets there, because Hamas has been confiscating that aid, and it's not clear that the aid is actually reaching the civilians that it's intended to.
All right, Alex Traiman, thank you. Also happening today, Spain, Norway, and Ireland formally recognize a